Hey guys, Redneck Mini 14 here, coming at you from my dorm room. This is going to be my first real attempt at keeping my channel alive while I'm down in Kentucky. So, this video is going to be about gay rights and where I personally stand on the whole gay rights issue. This might be a little bit of an unpopular subject among my subscribers. But nonetheless, I'm going to express why my opinions and why I have those opinions. So I have a list of talking points here, and the first thing I'm going to talk about is this woman named Kim Davis. The only reason I really have heard about her is because she lives in Kentucky, which is where I currently am residing. And anyway, Kim Davis is this clerk. I don't know if she worked in a courthouse or what, but her job was to issue marriage licenses, and she refused to issue marriage licenses to people who are homosexual. And so she was thrown in jail under contempt of court for refusing to issue marriage licenses to homosexual couples. And I've seen things like this on Facebook, and in the comment section I see a lot of people who are Christian, which, by the way, I am a Christian. I am technically, the branch of Christianity that I am is Catholic. So yes, I am a Christian, and yes, I do believe that that gays should have the right to be married in this country. But anyway, back to the whole Kim Davis thing. So, a lot of people who are Christians and who are like super conservative, they comment on these comment threads saying, well, I guess Christians just don't have any rights in America anymore. And that's not true at all. Because the next talking point is the separation of church and state. So the same law that says that churches have the right to refuse the marriage of gay couples is the same law that says that the courthouse has to marry them, because since it has been legalized by the Supreme Court, they threw out the whole anti-gay marriage ruling. Since it has been legalized legally, the courthouse has to issue the marriage licenses under federal law. That's just the way it is, because you have a separation of church and state. The church doesn't have to marry you if they don't want to, but the courthouse does, because that's what the law says. So even though she's a Christian and she believes that gays shouldn't be married, she still has to follow the rules and laws regarding her job, as does everybody else in their own line of work. So technically, yes, she is in the wrong, and nobody's forcing her to work at this office where she is supposed to be issuing marriage licenses. Nobody's forcing her to stay there. She could easily just quit her job, go find another job. Now, okay, going to find another job is not necessarily easy, but she still has the right to do that. But under the rules of her job, technically she is supposed to be issuing marriage licenses to whoever comes and requests one. So, no, Christians are not losing their rights. These laws have been in place. Not the gay marriage laws, but these laws of separation of church and state have been in place for a long time. So that should explain that right there. Okay, next talking point. Why do I support gay rights? Okay, why do I support gay rights? Well, because I've said in the past that I do not consider myself to be a conservative or a liberal. I consider myself to be an American. Okay, yes, I believe in mostly conservative things. I do believe in a few liberal things, such as this, but I don't like to put labels on my political views. I just tend to think of myself as an American, and I vote for whoever supports the things that I support. Now, some things will trump other things in the grand scheme of things, like gun rights, because I'm a very pro-gun person. But nonetheless, I don't consider myself a conservative or a liberal. I consider myself an American, and in considering myself an American, I am pro-freedom. And people who are truly pro-freedom, in my opinion, should be supporting the rights of everyone else, along with their own rights. So, let's say you're a conservative person and you consider yourself to be pro-freedom, so you support the rights of gun owners. You support gun rights because you like your guns, and you think that the Second Amendment is a very important part of the U.S. Constitution. But if you truly considered yourself pro-freedom, you would also take into consideration freedoms of other people, such as homosexuals. And regardless of what your religion is, because in this country we do have a freedom of religion, and this is part of another talking point, but if you have a freedom of religion, nobody's forcing you to be Christian or Jewish or Muslim or whatever. You have a freedom of religion, and you can, if your religion says that you can be a homosexual and you can get married, well, then legally in this country you should be able to do that because of religious freedom. Or if you're an atheist who doesn't believe in religion, same applies for that. So that's why I support gay rights, because it is freedom of another group of people. Now, my religion is technically against gay rights, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything, because see, this is the United States of America. This is not the Christian United States of America. Now, maybe way back in the day, there were a lot of Christians in this land, but the thing is, we do have religious freedom in this country, and so religious freedom should allow for the laws of the country to have these sorts of laws. I hope all this makes sense, because I have it, in my head, how I want to say it, but it doesn't always come out the way that I want it to sound. So anyway, that's why I support gay rights, is because I'm pro-freedom, and I support the rights of other people along with the rights for myself. And also the fact that, hey, if there's a gay couple over there, it really doesn't affect me, just because a law says that, hey, gays can get married, it doesn't force you to marry somebody else of the same sex. It doesn't do anything like that. It just simply says that, hey, if you are gay, you have the right to be married. And also, people will say, well, I have a problem with the word marriage. Oh, okay. So don't call it a marriage, call it civil union, or I forget what the technical term of it is, domestic partnership, or whatever you want to call it. You don't have to call it a marriage. Again, marriage is just a word, and yes, it is defined in the Bible, but again, it's just a word. All right, next talking point. Is gay marriage unconstitutional? And I see this a lot when people talk about the Supreme Court ruling, and I really didn't do any research on the actual ruling itself and why they called it unconstitutional, but I see people all the time saying that the decision to legalize gay marriage was unconstitutional. Well, how do you figure is my question. Maybe they didn't choose the correct route to go, but in my opinion, to have a ban on gay marriage, that in itself is unconstitutional. And people are also saying, well, it's not the Supreme Court's job to make laws. Well, they didn't make a law. They reversed a law. So the the law that said, there's a national ban on homosexual marriage, they basically just went and said, hey, this law is unconstitutional, and so they threw it out. And that's what the Supreme Court does. They do this thing with all kinds of things, like in New York when they banned 16-ounce drinks. That was the law of the land for a while, but then a judge said, "Hey, this is unconstitutional," and so hey, law was thrown out. Same principle. Now, I don't exactly remember what the why they actually came up on the ruling that a ban on gay marriage is unconstitutional. It had to do with like the 14th Amendment or something, some weird thing that I never would have thought of. That's not where I would have come from, because see, again, with the whole, to me, a ban on gay marriage violates the First Amendment, because part of the First Amendment is freedom of religion. And again, if your religion or your lack of religion, like atheism, if that allows for gay marriage, then there should be nothing that says you can't be a gay couple that gets married. So that's where I stand on that. I don't think that legalizing gay marriage is unconstitutional. I don't know the exact process that they went through to come up with their decision, but I still think that it was a good decision for this group of people. And again, being somebody who's pro-freedom, you should stick up for the rights of others. Okay, next talking point. This has to do with somebody that I work with. I'm not going to mention his name, but he's a very conservative person, and I do respect him a lot. He has informed me on many issues, and for the most part, I agree with him on these issues. But this is probably the one thing, or one of the few things that I disagree with, and I basically told him my stance on the whole gay rights thing. He's a Christian as well, and he's against it because it's his religion and whatever. And I bring up the point that, well, this country is not a 100% Christian country, because we have religious freedom, and the First Amendment says that. And he kind of disagrees because the original Constitution was based off of Christian views and whatever. But again, there's still that religious freedom part in the Constitution, which basically throws out the whole thing of, if it's against the Christian religion, then it shouldn't be a law. Anyway, I asked him why he doesn't think that gays should be married, and his response was that if you give them their right to be married, then they'll push their rights and their views on everybody else. Well, that's kind of hypocritical, don't you think? Because every group of people pushes their views on other people. Think about it. Christians, they push their views on other people by saying, hey, we don't think you should get married because you're gay. Gays push their views on other people saying, hey, I think we should be able to get married because, whatever. Every group of people pushes their views on other people. Muslims, they're a big one with, ISIS and all those radical Muslim groups. Now, granted, not every single Muslim or not every single person in every single group is going to push their views on other people, but every group of people in general pushes their views on other people. So Christians, Muslims, Jews, gays, straight, let's see, who else? Gun owners, liberals, conservatives, anti-gunners. Everybody pushes their views on other people. That's just a fact of society. So to say that, we shouldn't allow gays to be married because they'll push their views on us is a very hypocritical thing to say. Speaking of hypocrisy, some people might think that, hey, I'm a hypocrite because I am a Christian, but yet I support gay rights, and gay rights is against the Bible. Well, okay. Since we're talking about hypocrisy, how many of you are Christian? Raise your hand. Okay. Now, how many of you have been divorced? Raise your hand. Okay. How many of you are against gay marriage? Raise your hand. If you raised your hand to all three of those things, aren't you kind of a hypocrite? Because, hey, divorce is against the Bible, just like gay marriage is against the Bible. Ooh, didn't think about that, did you? How many people have had sex before marriage? Raise your hand. Are you still against gay marriage? Ooh, I think that kind of makes you a hypocrite as well, because sex before marriage is, again, against the Bible. How many people have had affairs while they're married? Raise your hand. Are you still against gay rights? Raise your hand. Oh, I think that kind of makes you a hypocrite as well. So you see, there's kind of this like selective outrage with Christians, and there's so many Christians that are just so against gay marriage. But if you ask them about divorce or sex before marriage or adultery, they're not quite as concerned about those things. Maybe not adultery. Let's throw that out. But let's say divorce and sex before marriage. People aren't quite as concerned about those things because those are social norms of today. So many people are getting divorced, so many people are having sex before marriage, and that's just kind of a societal norm. So they don't think about it. Well, to me, homosexuality is kind of becoming a societal norm too. So if you're against one but not the other, but they're both against your religion, well, then you are a hypocrite. I'm sorry, but you are. That's just kind of, that's why that's why I am pro freedom. I believe that gays should be married, because if I didn't, I would be a hypocrite. And I don't like to consider myself a hypocrite. I just like to consider myself somebody who supports the rights of myself and other people. Anyway, this is kind of going on kind of a long tangent. So that's pretty much it. So I just thought I'd tell you about my weekend plans that you might see a video of eventually. I'm going dove hunting this weekend, Labor Day weekend, for the very first time with my roommate. I might make a video while I'm out there, I don't know. If I don't make a video, I'll definitely take pictures and post them on my Facebook page. So if you want to see pictures of the dove hunt, go to my Facebook page in about a week or whatever. They won't be up there for a week or so, but there will be pictures up there eventually. So anyway, that's kind of my video on my stance on gay rights and my opinions. Keep in mind, these are just my opinions. Your opinions may vary. Please be respectful in the comment section. If you're not respectful, I will gladly remove your comments and possibly remove you from my channel, depending on the comments that are made. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, subscribe to my channel, like me on Facebook. I'm RedneckMini14, and until next time, be safe.